What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Drites Bro Sports channel. Ethan here, gonna try to get another mock draft video put up on the channel. We are on Draft Wizard today, so we'll be so the rankings are a little bit different on here. I will say I did sync up my ESPN home league to this, so I will be drafting 2 overall. I know the first video I put up, same thing, we drafted 2nd overall. I will be trying to put up several more videos drafting throughout different spots in 12-team formats. But for now, I am having fun kind of practicing that from that 2 overall position. I know I'm going to have the 2 overall in my main league. So we'll get some different players, try new things out, talk about some different guys. But also this one will be quicker. Let me know, guys, in the comments if you like this quicker format with the CPU more than the first video. I think it'll cut the time about in half. So just let me know what you think, what you prefer, any recommendations, or just talk about the players in the comments as well. I love debating and just seeing other people's opinions of different players this year. So feel free to leave a comment if you like the content at all. Like and subscribe. Very much appreciated. But let's get into it. Mock draft with these settings. I'll be 2nd overall again. This is easy, guys. I know this is the same, but if at the end of the day, barring an injury in training camp before the season or something, it's going to be Christian McCaffrey, and then it should be CeeDee Lamb in almost every format. I'm going to go one of those 2, no matter what, as the 2nd pick. So, CeeDee Lamb. I tried to click draft, but I accidentally clicked his name. Okay, CeeDee Lamb. So now at this turn, we're going to look at running back and receivers. Let me go to rankings so we can see more players. So I like getting a running back here. Now, it's really interesting in this format because in ESPN mock drafts, like Joe Mixon's so much higher ranked. Like in this, he's going like middle 4th round. And like, I don't know even what else. Like James Cook's higher ranked. All these guys are going so much later on this Draft Wizard app. So it's really interesting. But I do like locking up at least one running back at this turn. So I think since there's so many here and the first person already got a running back, we're going to play kind of like that ADP game. I do like Michael Pittman Jr., Mike Evans, and especially Jalen Waddle. I don't get a lot of Jalen Waddle in my mocks. I think that picking at the turn kind of just like sways me away from him sometimes, but I really do like Jalen Waddle this year. And maybe it's a little bit more of a risk than like a Michael Pittman Jr. or Mike Evans. But if anything happens to Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle's league-winning upside. Okay, now let's go back here to a running back. I'm going to solidify my RB1 position. Now, I've been doing some research the past couple of days, and I am getting higher on like a Rachaad White kind of guy. I don't mind taking him. I think he has like the workload potential and like what should be at least an average offense. But you also have Isaiah Pacheco, essentially the same thing in what it should be a better offense. I like Rachaad White's pass-catching upside opposed to Isaiah Pacheco's. So in full PPR, maybe you go Rachaad White over Isaiah Pacheco on that. I still like Joe Mixon a lot. Like, why is he ranked so far down here? Like, I'm about to reach here for Joe Mixon, I think, because his upside as the workhorse in Houston's offense should be arguably better than both of those guys. So that's what we're going to do. I know it's so early on this app, but, like, I love that Joe Mixon as my RB1 this year. It feels very good. Okay, so I already have 2 receivers. I could go my flex receiver here in Amari Cooper or T. Higgins. We argued a lot about that with myself in the first video I made on the channel. Or I could look to lock up my RB2 slot. I am growing on Zamir White. I think he has league-winning upside, even though he's in what should be a horrible offense. I think he's going to get a lot of pass-catching opportunities, and I don't think Mattson is legit threat. I don't think he's good. So that's an option, but I do like also always looking at my quarterback and tight end positions at this turn. So with so many guys still available, quarterback and tight end wise, I want to try to get this Lamar Jackson and Andrew stack, and I did. That worked out fantastic. Okay, I absolutely love the start to this team. So we have CeeDee Lamb, Waddle, Joe Mixon, Lamar, and Andrew stack. So we're done with quarterback and tight end. We're not looking at that anymore the rest of this draft. Let's look at my next flex or a running back option. We talked a lot about Raheem Mostert in my first video. I do like him. I would accept him as my RB2. over Javonte Williams, Pollard, Tajay Spears, for example. Brian Robinson's there. I am growing a little bit on Zach Moss. I just like the Cincy backfield potential. If one of those guys ends up taking over more or someone gets hurt in that backfield, you have a league-winning upside guy with Zach Moss or Chase Brown. So that's something to think about. I think the wide receivers is where we're going here. It's either going to be for my to fill out my flex, Terry McLaurin or Chris Godwin. Pretty much whatever you think which guy is going to be safer. I think the higher upside is Terry McLaurin. So we're going to go Terry McLaurin there. Now, I could go Chris Godwin here for like my first bench receiver. However, I do kind of want to solidify my RB2 position. Raheem Mostert's there. I think, although it is similar to the first video, I think that's the safest guy. I'm considering Zach Moss. I almost would rather just get Chase Brown like next round, though. You know what I mean? As opposed to Zach Moss. So let's go Raheem Mostert, RB2. Don't love it. I'm fine with it, though. Like I said a lot last video, not even thinking about Zeke Elliott. Nick Chubb's hurt, although he could come back in the middle of the season. I don't love it drafting him here. I'd rather take a shot on Jerome Ford, Zach Charbonnet, Chase Brown, like I said. Let's go back over to receivers. I'll probably do one of each here. So I'm looking at Jackson Smith and Jigba. I don't hate Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think he needs a lot to go right for him to be a league winner. I do like Christian Watson. If he's healthy, he's going to be the RB1 on the Packers. Simple as that. So we're taking him as my fourth wide receiver. Let's go over here to running backs now. I mean, sorry, the draft board here is kind of hard to see where everyone's going. You can just mostly see the bottom or top of my team. So bear with me. We're learning. Here we go. Running back. I want to solidify an RB3 for a depth guy here. It's pretty much between Jerome Ford, Zach Charbonnet, and Chase Brown. I was just talking about I like Cincy's backfield. These guys are all very similar, though. I think Jerome Ford has beginning of the year upside, but if Nick Chubb comes back at any time, he is just not very worth anything in fantasy. So maybe Zach Charbonnet and Chase Brown are better as like RB2s in their offenses. If something happens to the starter, then they're going to be huge. I think I'm going Zach Charbonnet. I mean, I obviously talk a lot about the Cincy running back room, but I like Zach Charbonnet. If something happens to Kenneth Walker, that he's going to be a league winner, and as well as if I think Zach Charbonnet proved a lot last year. So I think that Seattle likes him. So I think he's going to get some more run already, maybe like a 40-60 split to start the season. Kenneth Walker gets hurt, and then he's a league winner. Rico Dowdle goes right before our pick. You guys, whoever watched my first video knows I love Rico Dowdle. I think he's the starting running back for the Cowboys, so that kind of hurts. No need to worry, though. Let's look over at some just high upside in our opinion, guys. We had Deshaun Dotson in our first video. Obviously like him a little bit. Don't want to continue just to go with the same guy, though. Might go running back here. Kendre Miller's an option. Yeah, let's just go Kendre Miller as the time's running out. I think New Orleans likes him as well. If anything happens to Alvin Kamara, he can have some big time upside. So I think we needed to get some running back depth there. I don't love the depth that we got, but I think it's important that we got a couple guys. So I'm okay with that. I do like Romeo Doubs. Now, I already have Christian Watson, so he's not my favorite pick. I'm probably got to go Jahan Dotson here, guys. I mean, there were some other guys I could have tried to look for to change it up, but he is a guy that I'm really confident about with Jaden Daniels coming into the offense. So, not thinking too much about that. I think I'll try to do one of each here, maybe a running back and a receiver. We have Rashawn Johnson. I have been doing, like I said, I think earlier, some research maybe. I don't remember if I talked about the past couple of days. I've been looking at a lot of guys and doing some research on some guys that I think have potential. And I do like Ray Davis for Buffalo. If something happens to James Cook, he could step in and get a lot of good work. He also could be just the goal line guy by default because I don't think the Bills like using James Cook in the red zone. Now, obviously, Josh Allen's going to take red zone carries. Still, though, this late in the round, you just kind of have to look at good offenses and pick guys that are could see upside later in the year. So I'll go with Ray Davis there as a young guy that could see some work later in the year maybe. And then let's look over here at receivers. High up, just scrolling down quite a ways because you're just looking for guys that have upside. All right, let's talk about Jalen Polk. Horrible offense. However, he is a young guy that seems to be impressing early in the offseason. I'm looking for guys like be like the next Puka, like who gets the opportunity to be on the field and see targets. Now, the problem with that is you can't really compare Puka to Jalen Polk because the offenses. Now, the offense in LA with the Rams is way better than New England's is going to be. Now, maybe Drake May plays and he's good. Maybe it'll look good. But I am still going to go with a shot on Jalen Polk. I do like Jalen Polk late, just as like a flyer. Okay, so we get essentially one more pick here before we have to just take a kicker and a defense. So scrolling through the running backs just for a second, you see some names here that are somewhat intriguing, but they all are mostly like a lot has to go right for almost all of these guys to even like just see carries. So I think I'm just going to pass on that. I saw a receiver I do like. I mean, Gabe Davis and Adam Thielen are still here. I think those, you almost have to take like an Adam Thielen. I don't understand how he's going so late on this app. I also like Michael Wilson. They have Marvin Harrison Jr. now, but Michael Wilson was decent last year, and if he holds that spot still, he has upside in what should be a better offense. We're gonna go Adam Thielen though. I know they just got Deontay Johnson. I think drafted somebody as well. Adam Thielen was great last year. Deontay Johnson may be the one now, but Adam Thielen, this late in the draft, he has some upside. Absolutely. So, not going to think too much about this. Like I said, trying to make this a little bit quicker of a video. Let's go kicker defense. Justin Tucker's still there. Grab him without even hesitation. And Houston Texans defense. Okay, let's see what we get. Now, the draft analyzer grades are always whatever, Everyone's going to have different opinions, different rankings on certain players. I'll take a B-. That's usually where I kind of hover around it anyways. I like to reach on some players, why it's hard for me to get an A at the 2 overall just because I know I have to reach on players if I want them. So I don't really worry too much about the draft grade. But, I probably give this draft like an 8 out of 10 too. So, fair enough. Let's look at it really quick before we get going here. Lamar Jackson, absolutely love as QB1. Joe Mixon as my RB1, awesome. Raheem Mostert is personally where I bring it down a little bit, just because I'd prefer to have Raheem Mostert as like my third RB option. I don't mind him as an RB1, and then I can kind of figure out that, or RB2, and then I can kind of figure out that RB2 later in the season. Hopefully he works out though. Obviously we talked so much about him in my first video. I'm not going to talk about him too much there, but I think he should be fine as an RB2. CeeDee Lamb, obviously awesome. Jalen Waddle is a guy I'm super excited about. Glad to have him on the team. I don't love usually having 2 players in my starting lineup from the same team unless it's like a quarterback stack. So having Jalen Waddle, Aaron Raheem Mostert in the starting lineup definitely takes my team down a peg in my personal opinion. I don't love that at all. I'd prefer, now I'm really wishing I would have gotten someone else besides Raheem Mostert, but it's not a huge deal. I think that offense is good enough to where it could be sustainable enough. Mark Andrews stacked with Lamar is awesome. And then my flex with Terry McLaurin feels good as well. My bench here, I really like Christian Watson. I like taking him as my fourth wide receiver. I think he has a lot of upside. If he's healthy, he's going to be awesome. He could be a league winner if he stays healthy. Some of these other guys, it's just you just have to hope that they hit. A lot has to go right for them. But Zach Charbonnet, if Kenneth Walker gets hurt, he's going to be a league winner. Don't mind having him on my bench. Kendra Miller, something happens to Alvin Kamara, league winner. Don't mind having him. Jahan Dotson with Jane Daniels there. Hopefully has a lot of upside going into this year. And then I took some guys that I usually don't take, like Ray Davis, Jalen Polk, and Adam Thielen. I think at that point in the draft, you're just hoping that some things go right for those guys. Ray Davis in a good Bills offense, and then some, hopefully, guys, even though they're not in good offenses, have some starting roles and have high upside potential if they are able to, if the offenses take just a little step with Jalen Polk and Adam Thielen. So, yeah, there's the draft. This was a little bit quicker one. Let me know if you guys like the quicker videos. Otherwise, that's going to be it for today. Feel free to comment.